Hi everyone, it's your girl Desiree and I'm back with another video. I know it's been a while, but it's the last month of the year and I wanted to do a video. This has been placed on my heart. This is something that I have been grappling with and learning about over the last few months. Shout out to Salkis and also some other internal work that I've been doing for a while now. But sometimes you run into people who kind of spark something in you or give you a different perspective, make you see things from a different angle, kind of also hold you accountable and make you see things in ways that you may not always want to see it. But nevertheless, going into 2024, one of my focuses, I haven't written this down, I have a list of things that I have written down, but one of my focuses is to exit the beauty matrix for 2024. And I have a few points that I want to talk about. I'm going to try not to keep this long, so let's go right into it. So the first thing is, when you exit the beauty matrix, there's no competition. Especially if you are not eligible. For my whole life, well, maybe when I was a little girl was an exception. But for most of my life, I was considered unattractive. And I have had people tell me that either to my face, talk about me behind my back. I've been humiliated on social media. I have had a lot of experiences. This year, I actually had a woman tell me to my face in public that I was ugly. She told me that I was a fake Lauryn Hill because of my locks, and she talked about how ugly I was. So when you have been treated this way throughout your life, it's kind of like you know that you don't fit in when it comes to the beauty standards. But sometimes you still try to fit in some way, somehow. Like, yeah, I may not be able to be on the Pam Grier level or the Rihanna level or the Lauren London level or the Carrie Hilson level or, I don't know, Megan Good, Nia Long, right? However, I can still be cute. I can still be pretty. So you still try to do things that appease to that beauty matrix. You still try to do things that make people see you as physically appealing, aesthetically pleasing to the eye, right? Whether that be makeup and how you dress and, whatever you're doing. But when you start to get to a point of your life where that doesn't matter to you as much and you slowly start to work on that, you start to realize, maybe there's a point to exiting the matrix, because then I don't have to compete anymore. Because if I don't fit in to the beauty standards, then there's no competition. I don't have to compete with other women on who looks better, because I'm not, it's like a beauty pageant. There's certain women that they are going to choose for the beauty pageant based on how they look. So if you don't even qualify, then what's the point of feeling bad that you are not pretty like those women on the pageant because you're not even in the competition, right? So initially it may make you feel bad, but over time you start to realize there's freedom in that, because the women who are in the pageant, they have a lot of expectations on them. They have to have a certain body, they have to have a certain look, their skin, their hair, their nails. I mean, it just doesn't stop. They have to, walk a certain way and look a certain way and be a certain way, and some of them enjoy it. But the problem is, then when they come off that stage, there's still expectations that are set on these women because of how they look. And when you don't look that way, those expectations are not the same. So it gives you a certain level of freedom. Sometimes you think you're going to find joy and peace in being able to be as pretty and as aesthetically pleasing as the other women, when in reality, the freedom comes from you just accepting that, okay, I don't fit the beauty standard. I'm not going to be in the pageant. That's okay. I'm going to just sit in the audience and watch. Or I may not even show up to the pageant at all, because I have other things. I may just want to run around with friends or sitting in the room by myself and listen to YouTube videos, or I don't know, read something or go somewhere where I can see some animals. I may not even be interested. But even if I do choose to go, I'm not sitting there upset or feeling insecure or less than. I'm just like, oh, these women are beautiful. Wow, that's so nice. Oh, she won? Great. But you don't feel any type of way about yourself because you're like, I'm not in the competition, so why would I feel insecure? I'm not competing, so I'm not even, So that's one of the freedoms of exiting the beauty matrix. There's less stress, there's less expectations on you. And sometimes when you look a certain way, especially in my case, because of also me being very petite, very tiny, it's like people have these expectations of me that sometimes are pretty low when it comes to women and men. It's almost like people are shocked when they're like, wow, I didn't know that you would be as good at that as you are. Or wow, I didn't know that you could clean up so nice and do this and do that in that way. Or I didn't know that you could speak up in that way or be that bold or be that courageous. Like, they don't expect that. The only thing that they really expect is for you to almost be like a giver and a mule, and to accept whatever you receive, and to not speak up, and to not have boundaries, and to not like yourself, and not to love yourself, and to be insecure. Like, those are things that they expect of you, but they don't expect highly of you. So that can be frustrating. And unfortunately, some of us feed into those things because of how we were treated for so long. That's another conversation for another day. But even if you don't fit into those things, that's frustrating. But there's still freedom in that, because then you can show up how you choose to show up. You can show up in the way that you feel that God is leading you to show up. And instead of people being disappointed in you, they're actually surprised, like, wow, like, I didn't expect that from you. And then even if they are still disappointed, if you don't fit the beauty standard, many times as a woman, they're going to be disappointed in you anyway. They already think sometimes that they're better than you because of how they look. They already think sometimes they're better than you because, I don't know, like, I guess sometimes people feel like if a person is considered not as beautiful, they're less than, and there's almost like there's something wrong with them. So you already have to deal with that. And some people are going to be disappointed in you anyway. So it's just like, I might as well just show up as myself. You know what I mean? Like, either I'm just going to wow them because I'm going to come with something that they weren't expecting of me because of their low expectations, or they're going to be disappointed in me regardless. So I might as well show up either way. Next thing. Leaving the beauty matrix to the pretty girls and those trying to fit in is like the thing to do. Like, let them compete with each other. Let them go at it. Let them talk about who has the biggest butt and the smallest waist and who has a prettier face and who looks better without the filter and all this stuff. I mean, it's tiring. Maybe some women genuinely like the back and forth, but when you think about it, it's like, it's draining. Always feeling like, oh, somebody's prettier than you, or always feeling like you're better than the next person because you're prettier than them, or some women only choose friends because they're all pretty. Like, to me, it's just, a lot of it is just rooted in like vainness, and I don't know, like, it just seems kind of exhausting. So I think when you move out of that slowly, because it does take time for many people, you start to realize that you're kind of on the outside looking in, and you're just looking like, wow, like, I can't believe that I used to be so obsessed with wanting to be pretty. I can't believe that I used to be so obsessed with wanting to look like her, or wanting to have a body like her. Like, don't get me wrong. So I do still want a nicer body than I have. I do know that would take work, going into the gym and changing my diet. But the desperation is not there like it was when I was younger. The same thing with the pretty, I want to be pretty like her. I would literally pray, like, God, please make me pretty like her. Like, it was just so crazy, because it's like, it's actually, when you think about it, it's like a disrespect to God, because like, God created you in his image, and you're telling God, like, God, okay, I get it, but I don't like how I look. I hate that. I want to look like her instead. I want to be her instead. Not necessarily her as a person overall, but just what she looks like. And I guess you think that maybe that's going to make your life better. And maybe there are some benefits to some women who are more attractive. But when you really look at it, there's a lot of grimy stuff that goes along with that. And that's a whole nother video. So yeah, leave that grappling and that back and forth thing to the pretty girls. Let them go at it, and let them constantly compete with each other. Because like I said in the first point, if you don't qualify, then you're kind of sitting on the sidelines anyway. So it's like, okay, y'all, you can either sit back and enjoy the show, or you can just leave the theater altogether, leave the pageant altogether, and not even participate and even watch it, because it doesn't really matter whether you're there or not. Many times they don't even notice you anyway, or they don't really care. So it's like, whatever. And lastly, there's freedom in finding beauty in other things. So many times as women, we're so focused on what we look like. And I'm not saying that beauty is like completely useless. Like, who doesn't like beautiful things, like beautiful animals, beautiful flowers, like beautiful paintings? Like, yes, there's nothing wrong with beauty. God created beauty. But the problem becomes when we put value on that and say, oh, this is more valuable than that because this is more beautiful or aesthetically pleasing to the eye than that. Like, I was talking about that yesterday, and I was saying, like, a porcupine, most people would consider a butterfly more aesthetically pleasing than a porcupine. But to say, oh, the butterfly is more valuable than the porcupine, it's like, no, it's not. Like, they're both creations and they're both valuable in their own way. One just may be more aesthetically pleasing to the eye than the other person. And there may be exceptions. Some people may think the porcupine is more beautiful than the butterfly, but I think most people would consider the butterfly more beautiful. Same thing with an alligator. I think most people would consider a cute baby kitten more excuse me, a cute baby kitten more cute than an alligator, right? Not just because alligator is scary, like as far as like, its teeth and its being able to attack, but also just how it looks. The scaly skin, the way that it's just, designed and shaped. That doesn't mean that people still don't like alligators. There's people out there who risk their lives all the time to get around alligators. So it's not that one is more valuable, but because of the way society has been set up, at least this society, I can't speak for all places in the world. I think, excuse me, we are at a time where many places are being influenced by that, especially because of social media, and social media is worldwide. So I think even places that may not have been so heavily influenced by that now are heavily influenced by it because of social media, because of TikTok, because of Instagram and all these things. I'm not saying that those things are all bad, but they have played a role in this constant major focus on what do you look like and the value behind that, as opposed to what are people's personalities like? Who are they as individuals? Like, what are their interests? What are their goals, aspirations? What are their, fears and things that they're trying to overcome? Like, can I get along with this person? Do we have similar likes and dislikes? We can be friends, or, this could be somebody that you could be romantically involved with. Like, it seems like a lot of that is just, it's still there, but it's lost more because more of the focus now is on beauty. So much to the point where people who don't fit the beauty standard are seen as sometimes not even worth even being here, which is really scary. The things that I've had people say to me, the things that I've seen people say to other people on social media, it's really disgusting, especially when they don't have to be face to face and they can say it behind a screen, behind their phone or whatever. It can become really, really disgusting. And it's scary because there are people who are like me, who don't fit the beauty standard, who don't believe that they deserve to be here either, right? So when people tell them those things, even if they don't say it directly, but they say other things or do other things to them that can be very damaging, it can really set them over the edge. So I think that it's important for us to do the inner work and to slowly exit the beauty matrix. So that is my goal for 2024. And I hope that is your goal for 2024 as well. If you are in a similar position and you're just tired of what you've been fed and the experiences that you've been having regarding not fitting into the beauty standard, it's okay. And sometimes you kind of have to grieve that part and just accept that I'm going to let this go. And I'm going to slowly let the scales fall off. I'm going to slowly let this outer skin off and really allow myself to morph into somebody that is not fitting into this beauty standard, this beauty matrix. So I'm going to stop here. And I hope that this was a beneficial video. Let me know in the comments what you think. And subscribe if you like. And I will talk to y'all again soon. Bye.